Welcome back to another episode of Way Too Wifey. I'm your host, respectfully Gabby, and in this podcast we talk all things dating and relationships in this modern day. And if you're new here, I'm Gabby. I'm an online dating coach where I help women transform their dating lives, helping them navigate this modern dating world, going from situationship to soulmate. If this sounds like you, please hit the link in my bio to find out more about the packages that I have to offer. And then before we get into it, if you could please hit that like, subscribe, turn on your bell notifications so you'll never miss another episode if you're watching this on YouTube. And then if you're watching this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, literally anywhere else that you can find podcasts, please leave that 5-star rating and I will seriously appreciate you forever. I also feel like life is testing my patience right now. I'm really feeling very held up. A lot of things that I want feel so within reach, but it's just not manifesting into reality yet. So it's frustrating, but I really think that this period of my life is meant to teach me patience. It's just really annoying and I hate waiting and I'm like just not a patient person. So this is really hard for me, but it is what it is. Things will come. Trying to stay present, trying to stay grounded. That's really all you can do in this waiting period. So I wanted to get into friend breakups. And I know I talk a lot about relationships in this podcast, but I think there's some conversations we don't have enough, and it's about friendship. Friendship can be some of the most rewarding relationships that you have in your life. And just like relationships, I think that they can either steer you in the wrong direction and completely turn the course of your life around, or they can go in the opposite direction and really inspire you, help you get to where you want to go, have solid people in your life to be there for you. But I also think that it really depends on like what kind of season that you're in life. There are certain people that are going to be there for a season. These people are going to help teach you, help you grow, help you learn lessons that you need to learn in this lifetime. And then there's people that are going to be there for a lifetime. And I'm very blessed and honored to have experienced both sides. I have friends from literally 20 years now. We literally text in a group chat every day. There's 5 girls that we are in constant communication with. I'm very blessed to have friendships of a lifetime, and then I also have each phase of my life. I feel like I am presented with new friends, which is amazing and cool, and I feel like it helps me transform my life to the next level. I was hanging out with one of my guy friends, with one of my old girlfriends. He was asking questions about this other girl that I was friends with, and I was just like, yeah, we don't really talk anymore. Like, nothing actually happened. Like, there's literally nothing that happened. We just don't talk anymore. We grew apart. I think that she maybe had it in her head that something else went down, but nothing happened. The relationship ran its course, and I was ready to move on to different things. He was asking about her, and I was just like, yeah, we don't really talk anymore. And he's like, girls are always like that. Girls always have, like, they hang out for a little bit and then they just have new friends every week. And it's just like, I get that. I totally, especially in Miami, I feel like Miami, it's really hard to find quality people to surround yourself around. Maybe this is just a big city thing, but the atmosphere is very, like, superficial. So picking friends in Miami, it's like, you can't have unattractive friends. Like, as fucked up as that sounds, it's really hard to have unattractive friends if you are the type of person to want to go out and want to do things. Because if you're a girl in Miami and you want to go out to a club but your friend is not that attractive, it's really hard to finesse your way into that club. I am at the point in my life where I don't care about those kinds of things. So, you know, picking friends now, it's not all based on looks, but I realize as I'm maturing, my taste in people has definitely changed. And I realize why I was picking certain friends to be in my life. It took a lot of introspection. Some of this, yes, some of it was them, but there's parts where it was totally my fault. And I will take responsibility for the people that I bring into my life and the people that I choose to surround myself around. You have to know when to draw the line. I want to talk about the 3 friends that you can have in this lifetime. And if you really think back to all of your friends that you've had, they fall into one of these categories. So number 1 being the fake friend, the friend that is actually your frenemy. They have bad intentions towards you. They're taking more than they're giving. They're sucking the life out of you. They're draining your energy. It's just all around just like a toxic person to surround yourself with. Oh, and I want to get into how to spot this kind of person because I've learned so much through the friends that I have gone through in my life. I now can kind of feel the difference. Number 2 friend isn't necessarily adding value to your life, but they're not taking away from you either. They're just kind of there. They're fun to hang out with. They're a good time when you do hang out with them, but they're not adding value to your life. Number 3 friend is the value-driven friend. So you hang out with them, you feel inspired, you feel good, they're lifting you up, they're there for you whenever you're down, all around just like a solid person. It's very rare to find this type of friend. Not very rare, but I do think that these are in a smaller category than the rest of them, and I think that that's why it's like kind of harder to find friends. They're out there. I exist. I'm just kidding. You are a product of your friends, so who you choose to surround yourself with is going to make a huge impact on where you're at in life. If you're choosing to hang out with the number 1 and 2 friend, the toxic and then the like not going anywhere, you're going to be in the same position that you were last year, next year. You're not going to have any type of growth in your life unless you fight the current and actually make some moves yourself. But I can tell you right now, I've spent a lot of my time dealing with the number 1 and 2 friends, especially in Miami. It's like you can have those party friends, you can have like the friends that go out and they like to have fun and they like to drink, and that's fun. But I woke up one day and I was like, I spent this entire year, well, it was like probably last year. It was a great time. I had a fucking blast last year. But I woke up at the end of the year and I'm like, I have not made any progress towards my goals, towards the life that I want. I don't know, I just feel like the alcohol is weighing on me. I'm waking up every single day and I feel absolutely shitty. I'm gonna have to just be alone for a while until I find friends that actually want the same things as me, that actually inspire me, that actually want to do something with their lives. And I'm not saying this is no shade at all to like my other friends, because I still love them. I still like care about them a lot and I love hanging out with them. I woke up and I was so like upset about where I was in life, and I was like, okay, I had a lot of fun, we traveled a lot, we did a lot of things, but at the end of the day, I'm still in the same place as I was the year before. The idea of that didn't sit right with me. But I spent a lot of time alone. I actually ended up making a lot more, like a lot of different friends. They actually didn't want to party at all, so it was like fantastic. This is great. Like one of them didn't even drink, and so we like barely drank at all, and I'm like, this is like the kind of people that I need in my life. I think when you go through a breakup, whether that be like a friend or romantic, you try to seek the complete opposite of what you were experiencing before. And I think for me, it was like I was doing so much partying and I was kind of done with that phase of my life, to where I wanted some like grounded stability, like let's do some wholesome activities. So I made some friends with these girls and it was going great for a while. I think we ended up being way too codependent on each other. And we would literally be hanging out every day. We all lived in the same neighborhood, so it was easy to just like, hey, do you want to come over? Hey, do you want to go on a walk? Hey, do you want to whatever? This is kind of like my most recent friend breakup was this group. What I realized, I was hanging out with them every single day. I wasn't making any moves towards my goals. They said that they had their own goals, but also weren't acting towards their goals. So it was like we were all kind of resenting each other for not going after what we wanted, because we would be hanging out with each other every single day. And it just became a very kind of toxic cycle to be in. But I do think that what really drove the point home for me that I should maybe start looking for different people to hang out with in my life, and I still didn't act on it, was I also don't want to make this video and just talk negatively about anyone, because I truly like am grateful for every person that has came into my life. And if I've spent any stint of time with you, I am truly appreciative. But I think that what happened was I was hanging out with them every day. I kind of was losing sight of my own goals. I was going to the gym a lot less. I was eating out almost every day. I was putting my business, putting my podcast on the back burner. I wasn't focusing on myself. I ended up hanging out with someone else who also has her own goals, she has her own life, she has her own business, and she's really positive, inspirational kind of girl. I was hanging out with her, and after I left, I was like, wow, that felt so fucking good hanging out with her. I feel like I have so many ideas. She filled my mind up with ideas. No, but honestly, like after leaving that, I was like, wow, I really like, I'm so much more motivated to work on my podcast more. I have different ideas of like content I want to make, and I just overall felt good. I left feeling inspired and happy. And then after I had left her, I went on a walk with my other friends, And I was telling that, like, I was so excited. I was like, okay, like, we did this and blah, blah, blah. And the reaction that I got out of them, I was like, whoa, this was an eye-opening experience for me, because it wasn't up until that point I was like, maybe I'm hanging out with the wrong people, because the reaction was like, that's so cool. It was very clear that they didn't care, which is fine. Like, not everyone has to be a part of that side of my life. But I do think there's a difference between not understanding, still supporting, and then on the other side of that, I don't care. Why are you talking about this? And I really truly felt like it was coming from a place where they weren't living in their purpose, so they couldn't be happy for me for having my own, like, kind of life going on. Ever since that day, I was kind of not feeling it as much. This is why you keep your options open, because if you go hang out with someone else, make you realize, like, oh my God, that person was not what I thought they were, because this person gave you such a different feeling. I think the same thing should be with friends. No one is tied to anyone. It kind of felt like if we were to go outside of this friendship group to hang out with anyone else, that it would not be okay. What had happened was one of the girls just kind of like got up, ghosted us. And I really think that, like, ghosting from a friend hurts so much deeper than ghosting from a relationship, because you spent every day with this person, you think that everything's going great, and then out of nowhere they just ghosted you. It's like, damn, like, what did I do? Like, I know what you did wrong, but, like, what did I do wrong? I think with women it's really hard because we don't like having difficult conversations with each other, because we don't want to upset another person. We don't want to make someone feel bad. So we avoid the conversations with each other, and we'll be very passive aggressive with how we act and what we say and what we do towards each other, instead of just being upfront and having a conversation. And I think that's why guys have longer relationships than women, because we don't want to talk about the problem. We'll be like, oh, it's no big deal, we don't have to talk about it. Whereas guys, like, hey, that wasn't cool. And then they're both like, yeah, no, that wasn't cool. And then they move on from it. It's like, why can't we as women just be a little bit more forward about how we feel? And I do think that that comes with time. There was this one relationship that I had. She's actually one of my best friends now, who we, for the longest time, were being so passive aggressive towards each other in, like, the beginning of our friendship. Not the beginning, but after, like, that fun, like, oh, we're new friends phase ran its course, we were so passive aggressive towards each other, and I really hurt her feelings by something that I said. And I knew it was bad, because my ex was like, that was really shitty of you. And I was like, oh my God, I'm a shitty person. I need to have a conversation with her. I mean, we worked together at the time. We both, like, went to the office and spoke our full truth to each other, both crying our eyes out. And we got out of that so much stronger. Like, we are so solid now. I know what bothers her, she knows what bothers me. But I think that was, like, not having that conversation would have killed the relationship. We would have had a friend breakup. But the fact that we had that conversation, our relationship got so much stronger, because we both were able to effectively communicate how we felt, and we're very understanding of the other person's feelings. If you are at that point where you're kind of internally not liking what the other person's doing, if you're feeling very passive aggressive, and I get this way a lot in, like, my women friendships. I'll start to just be mean to them for no reason. I know that that's one of my flaws, but I've most recently just started speaking my truth of, this is what I'm feeling, you're being a bitch, or you're doing this and it's pissing me off. And I think that that's so much more effective. And that if that other person doesn't know to not take things personally, and know that it's coming from a good place, and it's coming from, hey, I want to fix this, and I don't like what you're doing, but I do want to get on a better page with you. If that person doesn't understand that you're not trying to attack them, you're just trying to solve the situation, I think that's going to make your relationship, your friendship, grow to the next level, as opposed to killing it. So if you're feeling that passive aggressive, have the conversation before you completely just, like, ghost the whole friendship. I used to have this really toxic trait in friendships where I would, if someone wasn't giving me what I needed out of the relationship, if I felt some type of way, if they were doing something that was annoying me and bothering me, I would completely disregard the friendship and be like, okay, well, they're not giving me what I need. I'm out. I'm gone. I'll find another friend. And I think that the problem with this day and age is that we don't know how to cultivate relationships. We think that everyone is so disposable, like we'll find another person, where it could be as simple as just talking things out, but we're so afraid to do that because we don't want to hurt the other person's feelings. So instead, hurt them 10 times harder because we're just up and leaving, up and ghosting. I would have been so cool if my one friend who did ghost me most recently, I would have been so cool if she's like, you guys are being bitches. I'm kind of annoyed with you guys. And I need some space. I need some time. I'll be back. I'll talk about what's bothering me. Instead of going from every single day hanging out into one day just randomly, we haven't heard from her. She was sick. I literally called her sister to see if she was alive. Like it basically faked her death at that point. I'm like, you know what? At this point, if that's how you want to handle things, I know what that's like. I've been there. I've done this to friends. That's how you want to handle this situation, then fine. But I also don't have to put up with it, and I don't have to allow you back into my life if this is how you handle conflict. I got into this toxic habit of just cutting people off when they weren't giving me what I needed out of the friendship. And what I realized that not all of these people are bad people. I was pouring in way more than they were pouring in. But what I realized was that not everyone in your life needs to be removed. They just need to be repositioned. You know, going back to the 1, 2, and 3 friends, with 1 and 2 being the most like toxic or keeping you in the place. If this is the type of people that you're hanging out with, maybe spend a little less time with those people. They're not necessarily bad people. Maybe don't spend all of your time with them and you won't resent them at the end of the day. Instead, spend most of your time either by yourself or with people that are going to lift you up, inspire you, be there for you. Invest equally as much as someone else is investing. I used to have this toxic tendency of putting people in places that they did not deserve. For instance, those girls that I was hanging out with them every single day, like they did not deserve that much of my time. I had just met them. Yes, it was fun. Yes, it was exciting, but I also wasn't putting myself first. And I think that was the biggest issue in that type of friendship dynamic, was that I wasn't putting myself first. I was feeling resentment to them because of that. And I do think that my other friends were feeling that way as well. So if we were to have taken things slow and just hanging out occasionally, we probably would have had a much better friendship. But instead, we hung out every single day and it was draining. We didn't yet deserve that place in each other's lives. And now I realize what types of roles that I want to not play in friendships. What I mean by that is that as I'm maturing and after all of the friendships that I've gone through in my life, I kind of realized that, like, why am I picking the people that I'm picking? Because it's like toxic person after the next. It's like, am I the problem? What's going on here? And then it took a minute for me to realize, like, what role am I playing in these friendships? And maybe it's because I feel most comfortable playing this role in friendships where I am the type of person who is there for other people, the type of person that is going to listen to all your problems and help you come to a reasonable conclusion. I'm playing the therapist, I'm playing the coach inside of me for my friends because it's comfortable, it's natural, it comes very natural to me. I realize with friendships it doesn't work like that though. They have to equally pour into me as much as I'm pouring into them, because I can't be your savior. I can't be there for every inconvenience that you have in your life. It's just not sustainable, and it's not a role that I want to play, especially if you're not my partner in life. I'm not doing that with friendships anymore. I realized that I was picking people that were a couple things, and this is kind of shallow of me, but I realized that I was picking people who were attractive and like to have fun. Really the baseline of our friendship, and also that had unhealed trauma, so I can play that role where I can help you and save you, and I don't want to play that role anymore. I have people that pay me for this, so I want valuable friendships in my life. Think about the role that you want to play in the friendship dynamic and don't accept anything less than that. I felt kind of resentful that I was helping so much of their issues where they never really asked me if I was good, never really asked me about my life or what was going on with me. It didn't even take until maybe a couple months in to where they're like, what is going on with you? We don't know anything about you. And I'm like, oh my God, you really don't know anything about me. And that was such an eye-opening day where I was like, I really don't share that much about me because I'm so cool with helping you guys with your issues and your problems and your guy issues. And I'm grateful that they were there for that season of my life. But I think I've wrapped that up. I don't want another friend that I'm going to have to help heal. I've done the work. I've done the work on myself, and moving forward, I want people in my life that have already done the work, that are ready to better themselves, that are ready to get to that next phase. But I think that repositioning people where even if they're not at that phase, it doesn't mean they're a bad person and you can still hang out with them, but just don't give them all of your time. And I think that that's where the resentment comes in, is when you do give them all your time and energy, resources, whatever, you help them and you're going out of your way to pour into this person where they're not doing the same for you. That's when you know that it's not it. How to spot fake friends. I really truly think that, like, whenever you talk about something that's exciting for you, something that you're really happy about, if their reaction is that they don't really care that much, question it or put it down or like whatever. When I'm talking about my podcast, for instance, and your response is like, oh, that's really cool, like whatever. No. Or like, how's your little podcast going? My little podcast, fuck you. We're not doing that anymore. If you have bad intentions for me and you don't want to see me win, it's very evident to me now because I've seen those people in my life. Their responses say it all. If they're giving you ideas, if they're pouring into you, if they, want to see you succeed, if they're there for you when your life is going great, these are the types of people that you want to cultivate in your life. People that want to see you win are going to help you get to where you want to go. The people that don't want to see you win, the people that are, low-key jealous or envious of you, are not going to make it very far. Notice how you're feeling after these friendships, and notice how you feel after hanging out with certain people. I hung out with people, and for the simple reason that I felt drained after hanging out with them, I don't ever want to hang out with them again. And then I'm like, damn, I'm lonely. I could like use some friends to hang out with. And then I'll think about calling them, thinking about like texting them or like asking them to hang out. And I really just cannot do it. After hanging out with them, I'm like, wow, I feel like I need a vacation from this hangout session. And that's when you know that they're not right for you. And that's when the friend breakups should happen. These are people that you do not want in your life. And then the people that you do, work on communication, work on the things that you need. What's triggering you in these relationships doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad person. Sometimes just simply asking for what you need will turn the relationship around. Are they a good person? Do they want good for you? And if they do, work on the communication with that person. Friendship breakups are fucking hard, and it hits a lot harder because this is like your person that you talk to all the time. This is the person, your go-to person, and then they're not in your life anymore. It sucks. But just think about it as they were there for a period of time in your life. They served their purpose, and as hard as it's going to be, you're going to find other people that you can connect to and relate with, and some people that are on the same path as you that want good things for you. Again, I'm so grateful for everything that my friend breakups have taught me, and I think that once you get to a place where you're not taking things personally and you know that they're going through something as much as like maybe you're going through something, that doesn't necessarily mean they'll be gone forever. And then if they do come back, you need to have a conversation. You just have to be open with communication. That is the only way that friendships, relationships are going to work, is being open and upfront about how you feel, things that are bothering you, being open about your communication. That is how you get to the next level in any type of relationship, is being open about how you feel. So if you do not have that, you do not have a friendship, because a friendship should be back and forth. You got me, I got you. I know that you're going to have my back at the end of the day. I know that you want good for me. I know that you are solid in your core. Anyway, this has gone on for a little bit. So if you could, please leave that 5-star rating, hit that subscribe button. I don't usually do like friendship conversations, but I do think that this was important because I think a lot of women are scared to be upfront, and a lot of women like don't know when to leave friendships. And I think that there are a lot of toxic friendships out there that you may not even know are toxic, but notice how you're feeling with certain people. And if you feel like they don't want to see you win, if they don't want to see you do better than them, if they don't want you to climb that fucking ladder, then why have them in your life? They're only going to set you back. Keep that in mind, and I will see you all next Tuesday.